Every time I mic up a drum kit, I'm trying snare, I'm trying kick, you guys are asking, where's the Beyerdynamic stuff? How does this relate to a Beyerdynamic? What about the M88? What about the M160? Well, Sweetwater came through for us. And boy, did I have fun. Anytime I put anything on a snare or even guitar cabs, people are asking about Beyerdynamic. Why don't you try Beyerdynamic? How does this relate to a Beyerdynamic? Before this, I had never tried a Beyerdynamic mic. I know, I've been living under a rock my entire life. I'm sorry, sue me. Don't sue me, please don't sue me. Getting to play with these, and the first thing I did was pop them up on an acoustic guitar for another session with a live band here in the studio, just making sure they work, because generally the first thing I try with gear is just see if they work, put it up on there. And I tossed it up on an acoustic, mainly trying the 160 on the acoustic guitar, and I weighed that against the Soyuz 017, which is what we were using in the moment. That's what the player was listening to in their ears, but in a live context, let me show you the difference between a FET 017 and the M160 dual ribbon. The 017 is a cool sound. This just has tons of bottom end, and I wasn't listening to it while we were doing it. I just popped it up. I wanted to be able to go back and listen to them later, because for that session, like, we were already rolling, we were already going, and these came in the mail, so I just wanted to pop them up real quick and listen to the examples later. So I didn't get a full pass with this mic, and I really wish I had, because the low end here and the smoothness was really cool. The M160 is a front address dual ribbon, so you've got like a small ribbon motor in here in like a component that they're calling the labyrinth. How cool is that? So you have the smooth thing of a ribbon. If you've used a ribbon, you know what that is. You have the super fast transient response, that kind of intimate nature of a ribbon. But there's like this top end that's just so present here. Not overbearing at all, but more, it's dark, but there's a lot of presence here. I think the thing I can show this on is using it on bass cab. I was pushing a ton of top end and a ton of distortion through the cab, and it kept it present, but it shaved off all the nastiness on the top that I didn't want. Very minimal processing. You can see I used decapitator just to kind of obliterate some of those mids, and then double tap, submission audio double tap, just to kind of girth up the low end, which I do on every bass track almost. By the way, that song is like the first thing that I've done personally for myself in a very long time. So thank you for tolerating me doing that, because getting these kind of inspired that whole thing. Playing with these on different sources, I was like, ooh, that's a cool tone. And then I'm just riffing away, and then, oh, that's a cool tone. I'm riffing a little more, until I knew I had a song. And all of the vocals on that were recorded with this, the M88. The M88 for me was the star of the show, and I think that's only because I didn't have two of these to try on like overheads or stereo room where I think it would really be cool. But I used this on vocals, on guitar cabs, on kick, or kick in, kick out. Basically, if this is the front of the kick drum head and I have my port right here, this thing is coming inside the port and then dropping just a little bit to below the point of attack. It's a monstrous kick drum mic. I love the relationship between this and the 91. It feels like whatever strength or weakness either one has, the other can pick up the slack. took samples of the kit. I'm calling it the Alkaline kit. If you want it, I'm going to put a couple samples for free for the people on Patreon. They're going to have this at the time of the release of the video. And if you want to go purchase the full thing, I'll put the link up for that as well. But these two mics in general, definitely kind of followed that sound that I have in my head for drums, and I got to it so much quicker. On guitar cabs, I'm very used to some kind of a ribbon and a 57, which I think most of us are. But a 57, it's a very love-hate relationship. Like, it's not a cool sound. It's a sound that's been around for years. It's a sound that has issues, and we know how to mitigate those issues. That said, tons of hit records are made with 57s, and you can make them all day long. This feels like what 57 dreams to grow up and be, even though the 57's like, what, 100 years old at this point. This did what the 57 does for me on guitars, but just to a whole different level. The top end is there, but there's a roll off right where you want it. This is a cool time to mention that Beyerdynamic provides you with frequency charts for their mics, and not just frequency charts for all of their M88s, but it is the frequency chart for this M88, which is really cool and super helpful. And you can see why I dig this thing on guitar. I mean, you're chopping off all the nastiness on a cab here. You've got a nice extended low end that does start to die off, so you're not going to get muddy. Same thing with the M160 here. Nice exaggerated low end. This over here is why I love this thing on bass cab. That extra little presence right there. You can see the bump, and then the top end dies out just like a typical ribbon would. The two things paired together on guitar cab for me, and I was using just an Archon into a Friday audio cab, into these, into Focusrite preamps, just ISA preamps, pretty straight ahead preamps, nothing crazy going on. But I didn't EQ them. There's no EQ, there's no compression. I have two compressors in my session, but they're just side chaining off of the kick and snare to duck just for a couple milliseconds of that attack. But other than that, there is no processing on those guitars. It's just these mics on the cabs. To me, that was bonkers. You could get away with just one. You could get away with the 88, but these two paired together just made for this huge girthy thing, which kind of for that post-hardcore-ish sound I was really into, and I didn't have to do any more EQing. It was a lot of fun to use, frankly. For vocals on this thing, you've got 3 layers of a stainless steel grill here. It handles plosives pretty well, but I would still use a pop filter with it, and I did. All the vocals on that track were this mic. It was me into this mic. All the screams, all the cleans, all the background vocals, everything was this mic. All the guitars were both of these mics. The bass was this mic. It was kind of crazy, the versatility that I found between these two things. And this one, I see why you guys have wanted me to try this for a very long time. I don't really remember a case where I was inspired enough to like, ooh, I'm really digging this sound. Like, that's the sound I have in my head for the guitar tone. And it led me to like finally finish one of my songs, which on the channel, that's the hardest thing to do, is like record and mix your own stuff. But it was a absolute pleasure to do it with these, because I feel like I was just leaning in to what they were giving me and reacting to how they were picking up the sounds. The bass tone came to be just listening to what this was doing. Recorded a DI, and then through the process of reamping and using pedals, just a tone that I never would have recorded to tape otherwise, but it was really interesting to see what I did having this in front of the grill. With those guitar tracks, it's rare that you don't have to do anything to guitar tracks. It made the process really fast, really easy. The vocals definitely took a little more nuance. I have to find different colors with one mic, which was interesting for that track in particular. So there's a lot of reverb, a lot of delay on what you guys heard, but if you want access to the raws, I will provide those to on my Patreon. You can poke around on the files. You can see what I'm doing on the kick drum. You can see all of these mics and the different positions on that session. So if you want that, go to Patreon. I'll put the link down below. You can download those files as well as the samples. I'll provide the kick and the snare samples that you guys heard on there with the Patreon. Otherwise, the Alkaline kit will be for sale. I'll post a link down below. Do you guys like this one? Let me know. Finally got my hands on some Beyerdynamic mics. What did you guys think? Was it all you hoped it would be? Hit the like button if you like it. Subscribe for more. I'm Resident Loser Jeremy, and I'll see you in the next one.